Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of my podcast, Wild Wander, where I answer your hiking and outdoor related questions. Today's question is one I get often. What's your training advice for someone who wants to hike a 14er, specifically for someone who's coming from a lower elevation? I live in Colorado and I hike several times a week. Hiking itself is a great way of training. I average about 10 miles and 4,000 feet of elevation gain a day, 365 days a year. My workout is literally climbing mountains. When I'm not climbing a mountain, I still exercise every day. Now, I'm not a personal trainer or a doctor, but I do what works for me. You should always ask your doctor before starting a new exercise routine. Personally, I exercise to be a better mountaineer, so that's what I base my workout routine around, not getting exhausted hiking up a mountain. When I was younger, I couldn't imagine working out every day. I was worried it would take up too much of my time, but I found working out for an hour a day is really only 4% of my day. And I always feel so much better, both physically and mentally afterwards. If I'm at home or at the gym, I tend to do a lot of cardio. I set the treadmill to a 15% incline at about 4.5 to 5 miles an hour and walk at a brisk pace. I'm really just trying to simulate hiking up a mountain. If you're training for a class 1 or 2 hike, hiking several miles a week in your hometown is a great place to start, working up to 10 to 15 miles at a time, preferably with an incline. If you have access to a treadmill, put it at the highest incline you can walk as fast as you feel comfortable for about an hour. If you're coming from a lower elevation and want to prepare yourself mentally for the lack of oxygen at higher elevations, wear a mask or a bandana over your mouth and nose while working out. While this won't make breathing easier at altitude, it will simulate what it will feel like to breathe at altitude, where there's less oxygen and your body has to work harder just to breathe. And the sensation can take a little while to get used to. As you further your training, put on your backpack so you get used to the added weight of hiking and working out with your pack. I also do a lot of yoga, which can be done pretty much anywhere. Yoga helps me stretch out my sore muscles and gives me more balance and upper arm strength. There are several occasions I've stopped myself from falling or sliding, especially on scree or snow, and I know the balance I gain from yoga is what helped stop my fall. I didn't even have to think about it. My muscles immediately responded to the change and helped to steady me. If you're training for a class 3 or 4 climb, you probably already know these types of hikes contain scrambling and light climbing. I'd really recommend joining a climbing gym if possible and training before heading into the backcountry. Before attempting my first class 3 climb, I went to a climbing gym at least once a week and practiced climbing up the walls and bouldering. While I was there, I asked myself if the training in the climbing gym would really translate into what I'd encounter in the outdoors. And you know what? It did. I felt so much more comfortable finding pinch holds and hauling myself up over the rocks on my first class 3 route because my muscle had already been trained to do so. It was like my arms and legs just already knew what to do. If you're going to train in a climbing gym, I'd also recommend wearing your backpack while you're training. It's amazing how off balance your backpack can make you, but you'll be better prepared for an actual climb if you train wearing some weight in your gear. Now, how do I get the motivation to hike and work out every single day? I'm going to be honest with you. I am not always motivated. I mean, no one is motivated all the time, but there are some things I do to keep myself on track. I found the days I don't feel like hiking or working out are actually the days I need to do so the most. It gives me time to work through whatever is bothering me mentally, and I usually end the hike or workout with a clear head. I've made fitness a habit. I tend to go to bed wearing my workout clothes, so I'm ready to hop on the treadmill first thing in the morning. It's kind of like ripping off a Band-Aid. You just need to do it, and you're so glad when it's over. Once I get started working out, it just gets easier and easier to keep going, especially as I see the progress I've made on the clock. The closer I get to working out a full hour, the more excited and motivated I become. I also know what motivates me, and I use this to my advantage. Find what motivates you or incentivizes you to work out. Personally, I like to have a glass of wine every night, but I've made a commitment to myself that I will not have a glass of wine unless I've worked out that day. I haven't missed a day of working out in years. So I also like to watch movies, but I'm too busy during the day to find time to watch. So I set up my iPad on the treadmill and give myself that 1 hour to work out and catch up on some of my favorite shows. Having something to watch that I enjoy makes that hour go by so much faster. If I'm traveling, I make my routine work for me wherever I am. I try to book a place with a fitness center, but I cannot tell you the number of times I've gotten to the hotel and the fitness center is either closed for renovations or not open during the hours I have available to work out. So when this happens, I'll walk up and down the stairs at the hotel for an hour. Sometimes I'll change it up a bit and jog up and down them just to get a little bit more of a workout. If there aren't stairs, I'll go for a hike around the area near the hotel, and then I'll just do yoga in my room. To increase my upper arm strength, I do push-ups. But I really don't like doing push-ups, so I'll only do about 10 at a time every time I think about it. I'll just stop what I'm doing, do 10 push-ups, and then continue with what I was doing before. I've gotten in hundreds of push-ups a day doing this. The important thing here to remember is doing something is better than not doing anything. You don't need a gym to get in shape to hike. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and to help me keep these episodes coming, please ask me questions by commenting or going to the contact button on my website. Thanks for watching, and remember, I want you to win at life and enjoy the adventure.